Today we're talking about 10.3 using chords, and we'll cover 3 different theorems. The first 2 theorems will work for the homework for today, and the third one will work for tomorrow's homework. So let's get started. If you still remember what a chord is that it's a segment inside the circle. So here I already drew down a circle, and then what you have to do is literally picking any 2 points and then connect them. So let's say if I pick this point and then this point and then connect them, this segment right here is a chord. So that's a chord right there. It's just a segment inside the circle. So now what we're talking about, theorem number 1 is that theorem 1 is that, so let's say we have this one chord called AB, and then we have another chord on this side called CD. And let's say we have AB and CD equal each other. So when we have AB and CD being the chord inside the same circle and they also equal each other, then the arc, meaning this curved part between AB and arc CD, they would also equal each other. So when you write it down, it'll look like arc AB is congruent to arc CD, meaning the blue part, if and only if chord AB, or you can say segment AB, is congruent to segment CD. Congruent means they equal each other. So when we talk about the arc, we'll use the degree value. So let's say if AB is 50 degrees, then we'll say CD is also 50 degrees. And then for the segment AB and CD, we'll say if AB is, let's say, 8 inches, then CD is also 8 inches. So the arc will always be in the unit of the degree. So whenever it's the arc, you always see it's a number. Again, any number works, and then you have the degree sign on the top, which is a small circle on the top. That's a major difference. Alright, let's talk about one example using this theorem before we continue to the next theorem. Alright, so here goes example 1. Alright, so let's say we have AB and then CD. So let's say we have the chord equal each other, and we also know arc AB degree is at 60 degrees. What does arc CD equal to? So the reason why here we can use the theorem is because we know the chords already equal each other. Then in this case, we can just conclude CD would also equal to 60 degrees. And the theorem also works, let's say if we have the theorem with 2 different circles, that would also work. So let me just show you another part at the bottom. So let's say we have 2 circles, and it says they have the same radius. so the radius are both 7. Then it says this chord is 11 and the arc is 120 degrees for this circle. Then we want to know what's the chord value for the left one. So we want to know what is RQ. And if you take a look at this, because they have the same radius, that means those two circles are exactly the same. Then they have the same arc value, which are both 120 degrees. So in this case, if we know this chord here is 11, then it will be the same in the first circle, which is also 11. So RQ is just 11 here. Alright, so the first theorem is just that when you can identify either the chords or the arc equal each other, then you would know the other part of it. Alright, let's move on to theorem 2. Here we also have one big circle, and inside here this is our center. So here is our diameter. So AB is diameter. That means it's the whole segment that goes through the center. Then we have another chord that will be perpendicular to AB. Means this will be a 90 degree, and we call this, let's call this CD. So if AB is a diameter and AB is perpendicular to CD, this upside down T means the 90 degrees, then our conclusion would be we would actually have, let's put this one as the intersection is H. Then we would have HD being congruent to HC. So what this one is saying is that when we have the diameter intersecting a perpendicular line, a perpendicular chord in the center here, those two sides become congruent to each other. And then we also have arc BC being congruent to arc BD. So not only those two equal each other, but also the bottom two arcs would also equal each other. So those two parts would also equal to each other. So try to label the same thing as I did, and try to use a different color for the segments and the arcs so you know which one you're talking about. Alright, let's do one example on this part. Alright, so example 2 here. So let's say we have a circle and then we have the diameter. We call this is J, L, and then here is the chord. We have H, and then this is N, this is K, and they're perpendicular to each other. So the only two things you have to know to be able to use this type of theorem is that you just have to know there is a diameter and there has to be a 90-degree mark here. Alright, so the values we have is that we have N K equals to 7, and then we have here HL, the arc, it's 11 x degree, and then this is 70 plus x degree on the other side. Again, keep in mind arc means the degree value here. It has the degree sign. So we want to know what's the value for HK, and we want to know what's the value for arc HK. So let's do the first part. The first one is easier. When you take a look at here, NK is 7. That means if NK is 7, the other half HN is also 7. So to find HK, it will simply be 7 plus 7, which will be 14. And then for arc HK, so because of the theorem, those two arcs would equal each other. So you would do 11x equals 70 plus x, and then solve for the equation to find x first, then plug it in to find the arc. So when solving it, you're having 10x equals 70, so x will be 7. Then when you plug it in, you will be finding the left side, 11 times 7 is 77 degrees. The other side is also 77 degrees. So arc HK would be, you do 77 plus 77, which will be 154 degrees. And that's the answer. Okay, so all those would cover everything you'll be needing for Monday's homework. But I'll also continue to the third theorem, which will be for Tuesday's homework. And you will be turning your homework this Friday, so try not to procrastinate everything. Okay, here goes theorem number 3. So theorem number 3, for this one, again, we'll start with a circle. We have here this part. Then we have 2 chords. And we name this A, B, C, D. Then we draw down 2 perpendicular segments. Let's the center be E, and then this is F, G. Alright, so this is F, not P. So for this one is that when you have 2 chords and then you have 2 perpendicular segments that go from center to each chord, then the theorem goes that chord AB would be congruent to chord CD if and only if EF equals EG. So this one is different from the one we talked about for theorem number 1. That one is when you have 2 identical chords, then you would have 2 identical arcs. For here, it says you would have 2 identical chords if you have 2 identical heights that goes from the center to each of the chord. So in this case, basically the same thing. When you see some circle like this, you would basically set everything equal each other. Okay, so let's talk about one example here. Alright, so example 3, you would have a circle here, then you have 2 chords, the center. So everything I'm drawing down is given to you in the problem, so you're not making anything up. So you cannot say, let's say if it only tells you this part is 5, you cannot just assume the other part is also 5. But in this case, they're both given to you, so you know they equal each other. And then the chord here is 4x plus 4. Then this part is 6x minus 6. And you're trying to find... Okay, let's just find x here. Alright, so in this case, because those 2 heights equal each other, we would know the chords would also equal each other. So 4x plus 4 would equal to 6x minus 6. Then you would solve for the equation. So when you minus 4x on both sides, it will be 4 equals 2x minus 6. And then when you add 6, it will be 10 equals 2x divided by 2. X would be 5. So this type of problem can also get a little bit harder when it not only asks you to find x, but it may ask you to find the radius. So let's try to see if we can find the value of radius here. I'm gonna keep the same problem, but I'm gonna erase this side. Keep in mind, we just found x is 5. But we'll change the problem to find radius. So we already know x is 5. That means 6x minus 6 would be 30 minus 6, so that's 24. So in this case, this whole thing is 24, and we only need half of it, so it'll be 12. Now, if you look at this triangle separately, we would know this is a right triangle, and then we have this part being 5, this part being 12. We're trying to find the radius. So in this case, we'll be using the a squared plus b squared equal to c squared, aka Pythagorean theorem. So that will be 5 squared plus 12 squared equals r squared. The shortcut, or like the easier way to remember it, is that the radius here would actually always be the c in the Pythagorean theorem. It will always be on the right side by itself. Then when you solve for it, it will be 25 plus 144 is r squared. So it's 169 is r squared. So your radius, when you take the square root for 169, r would be 13. Alright, that's the end of the video. I know it's a really long video and it covers a lot of stuff. Try to watch it twice, both today and tomorrow, when you do the homework, and try to have a good understanding of it. See you guys next time.